was about the grind. Yeah, bubble grind.
Now we have a guy that could probably get in there if you...
It's game day. The Edmonton Oilers hit the road once again. What's up, Nasties? Good afternoon. Welcome to EST Afternoons here on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports. Joaquin, Gage, Hernan, Salas, producer Zachary Koob Kubusch in the house on this Wednesday. Lots to get to. The Oilers dropped their fourth straight. I mean, what are we going to talk about? 120 highlights, lowlights, 140 Hernan's World, presented by the Edmonton Garrison Memorial Golf Club, 220. Tyson Shushkewich from Blue Jays Nation, as we'll check in on the Bluebirds, who are in action right now. They're 3-0 so far in Grapefruit League action. So we'll just get a quick conversation what's going on there with Vladdy, the management group. Max Scherzer played yesterday, and we'll see what's going on there with Blue Jays Nation and have a lot of fun. I mean, it's a funky time right now in Edmonton with the funk the Oilers are in, Joaquin.
Yeah, it's not good. Not good. But what is good is Nico Hulkenberg just pulling a little bit of a move on, I believe that was Alex Albon.
Nice.
In testing. That's
in
great.
testing. Yeah,
That's
testing kicked off today. Joaquin's a little behind, so we won't reveal what happened until he's finished up. Like always, hit us up on the River Cree inbox, 780-218-9999. Hit us up on the Nasty Chat. We haven't hit 100 yet this week on the thumbs up. And
Oh, okay. Socks aren't on? Jeez.
So let's try to get to 100 today. What can we do it for? Because
F1 testing. That'll do it.
they'll bump the numbers.
Bump it right up.
I'll bump it right up. But like always, we're coming to you live from the William Huff Studios here in the west side of the city. If you're listening, iHeart, TuneIn, radio apps, EdmontonSportsTalk.com. And man, Gager, lots to get to. Now, let's just get to the game. Better than the weekend, but that's not saying much because they were awful on the weekend.
Yeah, no. It was yeah, they're in a funk. They're in a valley. These happen during the season, right? But
Sure.
you would just the way it happened, because they went from a team that was considered one of the best, over the, what was it, mid-December, January, getting into February. Kind of their play did go down a little bit. I think they were on the verge of this kind of slump. And then what we saw the last game before the break, a lot of times you're like, when is a break good? Is this a good time for your team to have a break? And I thought it was just because they were going down, reset, refocus, come back refreshed, and they don't look refreshed. They don't look excited. There's not a lot of emotion.
The give a crap meter is really low right now.
Ooh, it is non-existent, dude.
Joaquin, we got a lot to get to, but I want to start here. So yesterday in the post-game show, we played Chris Knobloch, and he said, we're a fragile group right now. How much do you read into that comment?
I know Dusty touched upon it. He's quite angry about it. Look, I think there are times through the regular season. It's a long process. There are times when the confidence gets rattled a little bit. You would hope with a team that has that much experience and their maturity level that it doesn't last longer than necessary. Maybe it's Chris Knoblauch's. This is what I thought about it. I think it's Chris Knoblauch's kind of shot across the bow. You know how some coaches call players, well, they don't call players out, but they might mention that their team's not doing well, they're not doing this well. He doesn't do that, right? Mm-hmm. I think this might be his way of sending a message through to his team through the media, which a lot of coaches don't do, but this might be one of those cases.
Because I don't want to look too much into it, but you just made a comment that Dusty was talking about because fragile is like, it means easily broken, easily, you know what I mean? We all know what it means, but for me, I'm surprised that word is still being used with this team, with everything they've been through, Joaquin, everything. The leadership crew, you saw McDavid in that video, Amazon, we're all going crazy at the, dig in. You saw Leon Draisaitl after eliminating Vancouver. He's in the dressing room. Everybody's happy. And he's like, guys, we got to stop doing this, man.
Yeah.
Like giving up 3-0 leads. So obviously there's passion and there's a lot of give a crap with those two guys. But I just can't believe we're still using the word fragile with a team where they are as a core. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But again, I think they're a fragile team, right? I think this is a coach's way of trying to get guys motivated without specifically zeroing in on a few different players, right? Because if you hear that as a player, you're thinking if your play isn't up to snuff, you're probably thinking he's talking about me right now, right? How many times did you on the broadcast last night, pre and post, that you saw Coffey talk to Bouchard, and okay, we're narrowing it, and then you saw Ekholm talk to him. Like this is a guy that's fragile right now, right? So his game isn't on par. I mean, really, the only couple got, like, I didn't mind Stuart Skinner's game. He made a mistake, Yeah, you don't want that type of mistake at that time of the game, first minute of start of the period. Poor timing. Like it's a compounding factor that takes a little bit of the wind out of the sails of your team. But saying that, other than possibly Kulak and Leon, he scores a goal and there was some bright moments there, but you could even see in his body language certain shifts where he's just chasing the puck around, and you could see him like just kind of shaking his head. Oh, what do I got to get the puck here. And so, it didn't look good. And to get back to it, I just think that this was his way of maybe everyone look in the mirror moments, are you giving everything?
And that's fair. And it was a great question by Spec. Like, come on, man.
Yeah,
like, why
Spec with a good question.
Why are you guys still fragile? Like, seriously, like, how does that happen?
Yeah.
So let's start with, Bouchard starts 15 seconds in with a brutal giveaway. Again, no need for that.
I wasn't on time with the game, and then I saw you text, and I had to go home and get in and rewind it back to the beginning of the period. I was probably 10 minutes in, and I said, it can't be that bad. And it was that bad.
It was bad.
It was really bad.
So Skinner makes the save on that one, makes the save on the 2-on-1, makes the save, which it was a lucky bounce. It went off a skate right to Hagel, and he made the save.
Yes, made the save.
So we're talking about Skinner right now. Now, yes, he was much better. He made some big saves.
That's 4 goals that he took away. Took away from the other team.
Could have been worse. But I understand why the fans continue to get upset, because that second goal kills you.
Yeah, but look,
we're going to get to it.
Perfection is perfection for a goalie. Usually it's a shutout, right? That's how you look at perfection. There's going to be mistakes, and we'll break down that goal. It'll be nice for me to see it again. Some things went through my mind about it, but yeah.
Great breakdown on Sportsnet from their analysts, though, on that goal.
Well, they took the whole Skinner component completely out of it and focused on another individual that was, I thought I was watching highlights, lowlights. I started talking and I go, wait, I'm not live right now.
But this is where we're at with Stuart Skinner, is that the people that hate him, and there's a lot that watch us and listen to us, and we appreciate you guys, and gals, but it's just, he should have had all 4 goals. And I don't look at it that way. I don't, Joaquin. You saw the deflection goal. That's the first goal. He showed some body language, and he I don't know if he was mad at Janmark for trying to block it or partially block it.
I don't think so.
I think, or is he mad at, because he looked at Janmark and shook his head.
I don't. I've never seen him do that. I think because he picked that up right off the hop.
Yeah.
Right. Like he zeroed in on it. Where his glove was and where that puck was going, he was on it. And hits you're just when it comes you're unless that hits you, you're sunk, dude. So you can't stop that. And I think his body language at that point, just from what I saw when they showed the one angle, he goes, God, I had that. It wasn't to his teammate. It's one of those unfortunate bounces.
But and then again, and I think you said it, there's no alibi for Stuart Skinner. That was a terrible goal.
Yeah.
And listen, Bouchard could play. There's two culprits. It's the goalie and the defenseman. And that's the reality of this. We're going to play it in highlights, lowlights. It's awful by all means. But that's what Smitty the Welder is saying. He goes, those goals kill you, especially for a fragile team that the coach called them yesterday. It kills you.
Yeah, but so you're just saying that they shouldn't be a fragile team. Then that goal shouldn't kill them.
That's what I mean.
That shouldn't, right? So, I mean, it shouldn't kill Skinner. Shouldn't kill the team. It happens. I mean, there should be no lull in their effort after that, and you saw it though. That's the thing. So maybe we're making Knoblauch's point for them. They are a fragile team.
Well, I just can't believe we're still using that word where this team is in their kind of evolution, because this is maybe 6-7 years ago. I would have been like, sure, I'll give you that. 100% they're fragile. They don't know how to win yet, but they do know. They know what it takes to get to one game to win it all. It surprises me that they're still in that. Now, there's a lot of culprits. Kasperi Kapanen can't make that play.
Oh,
on
God.
the 2 shifts after the Oilers take a 1-0 lead, and he just destroys his team. And
he's trying to beat a guy like with the triangle in the neutral zone with everyone going one way.
Yeah.
Like again, go back to what Knoblauch said. We got guys trying to make plays that aren't there. I think I said in the text line, look, there's certain guys you allow to do that type of thing on the team. Nuge, Connor, Leon, of course. I mean, it's hard to say other guys that, if that's the case where it's not at 90, 100% that you're getting the line or getting into the zone, you got to chip and chase.
Yeah.
And with a purpose. Don't just fire it in so the goalie can set up and they come right back out. Tampa was really good at stacking up the blue line. Like they were what was it? Anaconda eating a pig in that neutral zone. They were just suffocating the Edmonton Oilers through the neutral zone. It was brilliant.
Can you put my board up, please?
This is like an anaconda taking down a pig.
Yeah, and the Oilers were the pig in the neutral zone there.
I have seeing Hagel play yesterday, man, and Cirelli. They're awesome.
Now we see why they were. Yeah, everyone's going, why are those guys on the? Now I'm like, get those guys to the Olympics, please.
I'm taking the pencil away and doing it with pen. Right
they're going Sharpie in the whatever line. They are fantastic.
Yeah,
that's something that and that's the you pick a certain coach for a team that's had that much success. He knows. John Cooper's coached a team at a very high level for a very long period of time here. Had some great players. He just realizes that, you know what, I don't care. I need these two because I know what they're capable of. I know what I'll get from them on a consistent basis. They are wonderful hockey players.
Yeah, and then the fourth goal, you saw frustration from Nuge, which you don't see barely ever. He's kind of always like this because he's late. He's late to pick up Nick Paul. He's not strong. And Nick Paul's a big dude. Don't get me wrong. It's easier said than done. But again, you're what?
Wouldn't you like it's 3-1. It looks like the game's kind of done. Don't you just whack the guy? Take the penalty so he doesn't score.
Do it, man.
I
want to bring up another point with you because that's a good point. Take the penalty. Because at 3-1, Gage, I don't think many, at least for me, and I don't think many Oilers fans thought they were coming back.
If you're that mad, if that's what, and maybe if it's just the minus, then that's something else. But make sure he doesn't score. It's 3-1. Make sure he doesn't score because if he does, the game's definitely over. You might as well take your chances on I mean, I know the PK's leaky as a. I'm looking for something to say that's appropriate, but I can't find it right now. Like, you might as well try. Right? Just take his legs out, whatever. Do something resembling anything at that point.
And this is the other bone I have to pick with this Oilers team. Gage, they were at 3-1. They weren't coming back. You can be the most optimistic Oiler fans. It was not happening. Nick Paul scores 7 minutes in to make it 4-1. At that point, for me, Joaquin, I'm not double shifting McDavid in the Draisaitl line. I'm not. I'm like, hey, I want to see what Savoy can bring me here. Hey, I'm going to try to get this little Finnish dude, Arvidsson, going. Hey, I'm going to see if Kasperi Kapanen wants to make up for his blunder in the first period. But he keeps McDavid, Draisaitl, and then another line. Then McDavid. Let other guys show up for you.
Why not go to something else to try to find the spark that lights the fire, right? Try to see someone. And what happened when he put Leon in Nothing.
And nothing happens on the other lines.
But that's the funny thing. Like, it's so quick to jump to that, but then just why stay with it if that's not even working, right? That's got to be frustrating for other guys on the team. They get ample opportunity to try to turn things around. As a player, you want to make the difference, so try something else. It wasn't working with Connor and Leon. They barely had the puck.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it's getting really frustrating. I want to ask our listeners and our viewers, and I want you to send us a text on the River Korean box, 780-218-9999, or on the Nasty Chat. Where is your panic level at from 1 to 10? 10 being the highest, obviously. Gager and I will have our numbers next. We want to hear from you as well. What number is your panic level at right now with the Edmonton Oilers, 1 to 10, 10 being the highest? Sound good?
Sounds great.
Yeah, I just got to do, we got highlights, lowlights. If you don't want to remember what happened last night, don't turn us off. Just maybe step away from your computer or your phone right now. The afternoon inbox is presented by the River Cree Resort and Casino, home of Tap 25 Restaurant, where the entire menu is 50% off 7 days a week from 2 to 5 p.m. Up next, more Oilers Lightning with highlights, lowlights, and your text messages and comments on the Nasty Chat. That's all coming up here on EST Afternoons. Joaquin, Gage, Hernan, Salas, Zach Kubish, and Zach's got your sports update.
The Oilers have claimed Travis Dermott off waivers from Minnesota, assigning him to the AHL. And Dermott started the season in Edmonton, suiting up for 10 games for the Oilers. Meanwhile, Vladimir Guerrero returns to the Avalanche lineup as he takes on the Devils, suiting up in his first game since late December. Nichushkin has 11 goals and 17 points through 21 games this season, missing time with a lower body injury. Elsewhere, Vancouver takes on LA. Well, the Jets drop the puck against the Sens. And on the court, it's the Raptors Pacers, with Toronto's Scotty Barnes questionable because of a hip issue. We also see the Nets and Thunder go at it. The 76ers and Knicks tip off, while the Clippers meet the Bulls on a 9-game slate. Back in Edmonton, the U of A football team has hired Armando Sewell as the team's defensive lines coach. Sewell coached for the Elks last year and also played 9 years with the team, winning the Grey Cup in 2015. This sports update is brought to you by Give Me Virtual Golf. Give Me Virtual Golf has a whole new golfing experience with 240 unique courses for you to play, featuring innovative technology that automatically tees the ball up for you, replicating real-life ball lies, shifting the ball in 24 different directions. Give Me Virtual Golf, where innovation meets the game. Visit their website at gimevirtualgolf.ca. Highlights, lowlights brings us back on the other side of the break. I'm Zachary Koobish, keeping you up to date.
Get your fix every single game with the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame and postgame shows with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas. Whether it's breaking down the starting lineup, predicting key matchups, or diving deep into the game's biggest moments, Tom and Hernan are here to give you the best insight and analysis in the city. After the final horn, get the breakdown of every key moment, performance, and player reactions. It's your one-stop shop for all things game day. Catch the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame and postgame shows with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas, only on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
You want the heavy hitters on your team, both on and off the ice. If you've been injured in a car accident, call the heavy hitters of injury law. James H. Brown and Associates, Alberta Injury Lawyers. With over 200 years of combined injury law experience, their precedent-setting lawyers are ready to help. Locally owned and proud Edmonton Oilers fans, James H. Brown and Associates wants to support you with their unrivaled experience, unrivaled results, and unrivaled commitment. When accidents happen, head to jameshbrown.com.
Since 1952, William Huff has been the heartbeat of Edmonton's advertising world. From humble beginnings to a citywide powerhouse, we've been the go-to for signage from print to design and installation. Partnering with Edmonton's top sports franchises and major events, we've helped shape the city's global reputation. Our secret? Unmatched customer service, decades of experience, and a passion for excellence we call the William Huff Advantage. Visit us online at williamhuff.com.
Looking for quality building materials and friendly advice? Visit us at Windsor Plywood Leduc, family owned and locally run since 1993. From interior materials for doors, flooring, baseboards, and all the finishing touches to all you need for your outdoor projects like cedar lumber for decks and fences, plus all the plywood you'd need. Our full-time on-staff carpenter can help with anything odd-sized or custom, and from domestic hardwoods to exotic selections, we've got you covered. And if we don't have it, we'll track it down for you. Windsor Plywood Leduc. We're the experts you need to know.
.124. Welcome back to EST Afternoons. It is a funky town, and the panic is real, folks. Holy smokes. People are not happy right now with this team.
No, they are not.
Big Uke says, I'm a 5. Giancarlo, 6. Descra, 5. Alberta drop, 6-7, depending on how much Bouchard touches the puck. Bronco Nick, now 4. If this effort continues through the next 2 games, a 10. Caster, 1990, panic at 6. Because Reed has conditioned me for an 0-5 trip. C-Run, 5. Let's get to the River Cree inbox. Panic level is at a 4. Frustrated with the lack of give a F is a 10. T-Mac, the rugby guy. Tyler and Terwilliger, panic level is low right now. I always choose to be optimistic heading into the deadline, no matter what where the team may sit. That being said, I've never seen in my life the Oilers go all in to win now, and we are in year 11 of Connor Stove. Wait, let's get to the panic level. Mike, the Michigan fan, who brought us some ribs and some cheese, and it was great. It was great. He says my panic level is at 0. Last year, it was at a 10, knowing it was possible. I could lose $100 if they win the cup. Gager, what's your level at?
Well, it's tough for me because I don't, they're.
Yeah, you don't really panic about it.
I don't panic about it, but I'm trying to put my fan hat on and wanting the Oilers to do well. It's hard not to get wrapped up in it all. Mm-hmm. Obviously, we talk about it every day, and we talk to people outside of these studios when they approach me. Especially, I haven't seen Tyler and Terwilliger in a long time, I guess got to wait for that dog park to pop back up. But no, I would say I'm at a 5. If Fan Joaquin is 5, just because of the whole situation.
Fan Hernan's at about a 6 or 7. That's good. Oh no. Oh, sorry. A 4 or 5. Okay. Sorry. I was going the opposite way, and I posed the question because we've seen this team at their best, and they're deadly. They are, and it's a bad slump. Hopefully, that's all it is. And it's also dangerous, Gager, because if they continue to struggle heading into the deadline, you never want your GM to make a rash decision that you'll regret.
Well,
for
they
years.
better not.
Yeah,
like that's why they're paid millions of dollars not to make bad choices, right?
Don't be reactionary on what's going on in the moment. You can't be.
It is magnified a little bit, and I know that the Flyers are a little bit of an outliner, but they've played some top teams, and they've come up on the wrong end of them, right? So you want to see Edmonton come out of those games on top, and I mean, not that the Tampa Bay look like they're on a heater right now. They're playing extremely well. It's tough not to think that, wow, that team could cause some other teams issues. I don't know if they get to the finals in the Eastern Conference, but you got to give them a puncher's chance for sure.
Yeah, because the forwards weren't good yesterday. Like, Vasilevsky didn't have to make one tough save.
Not one.
And the only one was the one that hit the boards and came right to Savoy. That one, sure, and I think Savoy was even cut off because he didn't get all of it. But yeah, it's this team it's such a weird team, man. Weird dynamic there. Like you said, fragile right now. But you went to Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals. And you can't just, we talked about it yesterday, Knobloch's comments on Sunday, where he's like, I don't like that they think they can just turn it on. That's not.
How much do you think Oilers players are telling themselves that, though? How like, when you have a bad season or what happens, you heard at the beginning of the season, this is a new season, we're not thinking about that. But, I mean, we say a lot that they went to the finals last year. Do they keep telling themselves that, look, we're a team that went to the finals, we should get back there? Or have they put that in the rearview mirror and said, wait, this is completely different?
That's a good question.
Because you always draw upon previous experiences.
Of course.
Right?
But they're probably like, hey, guys, it's late February. We're on a slump. Who cares? We'll be good to go by the playoffs. But again, the great teams, the teams that win it all, don't have that mentality.
So what do you think the mentality of the Edmonton Oilers with the last, how many games remain? 26?
Probably 24 now.
24? In these last 24 games, I'm going to put you behind the bench. You're the head coach. What do you want the mindset of the Edmonton Oilers to be from here on out?
The mindset should be at your best in every situation heading into the playoffs. Your power play, your PK, your 5-on-5, your defending off the rush, your defending cycles, your goalies making the saves when needed upon. The goalies don't have to be great, but they got to do the good old Grand Fear, make this big save when it is required. That's what you need from this team. And right now you're not seeing that. And that's why I'm having a hard time thinking that it is just a funk, I think, Gage. I don't see them losing 7, 8, 9, 10 in a row. Like, this team is far too talented to do that. Now, a lot of passengers lately, sure. The Four Nations break is not an excuse. These guys are not allowed to go to Cabo anymore.
No, it's been Cabo Wabo.
Cabo Wabo for the Edmonton Oilers. Let's get to highlights, lowlights here. I'll see when Koob is ready to go. We'll play. We're going to start with the Caps' first goal. All the highlights I found, it doesn't show it. It picks up right when Kasperi Kapanen turns it over Joaquin. But nonetheless, this goal's a killer. Just over a minute after the Oilers take the lead, Kasperi Kapanen cannot make a play on the blue line in the neutral zone like that, and it leads to what is it, a 4-on-2 at the end?
Yeah, it does.
4-on-2.
Like where?
Great finish by Esimont, who's a good little player, but. Right there, just dump the damn puck in the zone.
You got to read the play, right? You got two of your forwards ahead of you, and they're stalled at the blue line anyway.
Yeah,
right. You want to be hitting everything with speed. Like, if they're that much ahead of you, I don't know. I realize the game has changed. It's more of a possession style. You don't want to be dumping the puck and giving the puck back to the other team, but there are instances where you just want to put it in behind the D-man, make them turn, and hopefully get in on a forecheck, right? It's just, yeah, he put himself and his defenseman in such a poor position because with a good transitional team like the Tampa Bay Lightning, it's not the formula to be successful when you're giving the puck away at the red line when everyone's going in one direction.
And he only played 9 minutes on the night. Now, I don't think it's because of the turnover. It's just because they were down and they're rolling the big boys and all that. But he was last on time on ice for the Edmonton Oilers. And before Koob plays this second goal, Bouchard and Skinner have been taking a lot of heat, and a lot of it is fair. Sure, 100%. We're not sitting here defending anyone. They have not been good enough. But this goal, Joaquin, let's go through it because the guy on Sportsnet broke it. He focused in on Bouchard, but I think both guys play this terribly.
It's awful. I mean, Bouchard, it looks like he got tickets to be a fan and skate on the ice because he's just completely watching, and there's nothing, there's no stops, it's awful. Now, saying that, Stuart Skinner has to make this save. Yeah. But when I look at this and I see Hagel with all, like right here, I think because you can't really see Bouchard, he might not even be in the peripheral of Stuart Skinner, or maybe he does think that Bouchard's going to come and challenge at that point because Hagel's going to come to the front of the net because he's basically untouched all the way. Yeah. So maybe Skinner is setting himself up to take a guy driving to the net at that point and thinking Bouchard's at least going to come and cut himself off. If that's the case, Hagel's a genius because he recognizes both plays and goes for the wraparound. But again, this is a bad goal. You don't want these to happen. Goalies aren't perfect all the time. You want to save at this point, but you can't have two guys just have nothing for that play. Bouchard, I mean, the on Sportsnet, they broke it down perfectly. There wasn't a hard stride the whole time, like nothing hard. Even to the back post, it was a flyby with the stick. He didn't stop and try to contend for that puck. It was amazing to me when I watched it.
The guy on Sportsnet says when he gets by Ekholm, the play there, and I think he was a former player, I can't remember his name, Bouchard should have cut him off there right before he goes behind the goal line
because there's no one else. Yeah, it's a 1-on-2, and
Ekholm can cut to the middle.
Yeah,
but then another good point. Belzy was here earlier doing the hangout, and I asked him about. He goes, "Okay, even when he went around the net, Bouchard could have went and he could even go body to body. Yeah, he wouldn't even get it. He goes, but he chose not to engage at all.
At all.
He went there and barely swung his I don't even know what he was doing with his stick because he wasn't on the ice. He wasn't trying to stop him. That to me it just breaks down everything that's wrong with Bouchard and Stuart Skinner at the moment.
At this year, at the end of the year, when they after everything and they have the Edmonton Oilers equipment swap where you can go in and buy equipment. Yeah. Bouchard's shoulder pads are going to be full price because they haven't been touched.
They're still in great shape.
Yeah,
but that's what frustrates me is because listen, everybody was asking for Bouchard to be a healthy scratch. That's never going to happen. And I think it was ZB yesterday on the post game show. I go, listen, I get it. I truly get the frustration with him, but he's been awful. But name me another top pairing defenseman around the league that gets healthy scratched. They don't. They're allowed to make as many mistakes as they want, and they're going to continue to play. It's not just the Oilers, people. There's not just the Oilers. But if you can find one top pairing defenseman that has been healthy scratch this season, I'll give it to you.
I mean, you're at this point, are you just hoping that he figures stuff out?
Because I heard Dotsie on the outstream say this slump. It's not a slump anymore. He's just having a bad season.
He hasn't been. There's been some moments, but they've been way too far and few between in this case with Evan Bouchard. And just the one thing you can always do in a slump is engage physically. And sometimes that ignites you a little bit. You know who was, I think, the best ever at that in recent memory for the Edmonton Oilers? That if he was going through, and this is going back a few years, but Sam Gagner, I remember when he was struggling, he'd always go out and hit someone, get in a fight, and then all of a sudden he'd have like 2 goals.
Yeah.
But
he had that emotion though.
Oh,
like Sammy had, that's why he's loved here. Like Sam Gagner would take on anyone.
Yeah.
He'd do anything for the team.
But it's not like anyone else can't do that. And you play defense, the opportunity to be a little bit more physical in battle. But there was that play. I mean, it's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting.
James says no other top pairing D is as bad as Bouchard. Okay, but I'm here to tell you, and I'm not saying I agree with it. They're not going to healthy scratch him. I'd be floored if they did, Joaquin.
What did we say? The only way that you kind of throw the mess is go 11-7 and
take minutes away from him.
Yeah, but is that going to happen? No, I don't.
Just think back, Oiler fans, when the Oilers were really bad and Justin Schultz was their number 1 guy.
Yeah,
and he struggled even more than Evan Bouchard did. He never got sat. No. So again,
now you're saying Justin Schultz realistically was what, a 4 or 5 D man?
He was.
He was a 5 basically, and really good.
Yeah, what we're saying is, I think Joaquin and everybody here at EST, if Evan Bouchard got a healthy scratch, I think we'd all be like, good. That's well deserved. But I just don't see Knob doing that. And you guys have watched Knob coach for a year and a half. You really think he's going to do that? I just don't. I don't. C-Run says Bouchard's stats this year are his second best season. C-Run, I have no issues with his offensive game because in the offensive zone, he's been good. I don't think he's been great. But what we're talking about where he's bad is the defensive zone.
Yeah, he's a lot of his mistakes are almost to the caliber of a goaltender. Goaltender makes a mistake, it's a goal against.
Yeah.
Right? Bouchard makes a mistake, it a lot more times than not, it's ending up in the back of the net. That's what can't happen.
Yeah, it's they have the day off today in Florida. They've played 3 and 4 nights, so they probably need a nice rest day. I'm intrigued to see which way the goaltending goes tomorrow, Gager, and the line changes because Jeff Skinner should be in there. I don't care what anyone says. There's players playing way worse than Jeff Skinner is. Jeff Skinner needs to be in there and play John Klimberg. You brought him in for a damn reason. Bring him in.
Yeah, you mentioned that they picked up Dermott, right?
No, I haven't. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah. So Edmonton Oilers pick up Travis Dermott, back up off in waivers.
Yes, but he's already been sent to the Condors.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I believe if you're the original team that puts him on waivers and you can pick him, you can directly put him to the minors, right?
Yeah. So they announced they reclaimed him, and then minutes later, quote tweeted it.
Okay.
He's been resent. He's been sent. Sorry, not resent. He's been sent to the Condors. Maybe looking for some depth. I don't know.
That's fine. That's a little bit more encouraging that he did get sent to the minors because Reed and I were talking. Is Klingberg hurt? Right? Yeah. Why wouldn't you play him?
I didn't even think.
And
of
then
that
they pick up backup. Well, that doesn't make sense, really. Yeah. But then whatever.
So listen, if for everybody that wants Bouchard sat, I'm not opposed to it. I just don't think that this coach will do that.
If he comes out in the first shift and gives a pizza up the middle for a scoring chance, he's got to sit and watch.
But that's even a bigger message. Like the first pizza, he had 3 terrible turnovers behind his goal line. 2 of them were grade A chances that Stuart's going to stop hockey. Like on the third one, you're down 4-1. I'm like, Bouch, you're sitting for the rest of the night.
Yeah.
I'm tired of this.
Yeah.
Instead, he plays more. Seriously, he plays more.
Yeah.
So you really think that coach is going to sit this guy out? That's not going to happen. We'll continue the Oilers talk. We got lots of time left. 42 thumbs up. Let's get to 100. We haven't hit it yet this week, so let's get there. And coming up next, Hernan's World. Start thinking celebrations, sports, as it's an important day for one particular celebration. I want to hear from the guys, their top or their favorite celebrations in sports history. And text us 780-218-9999. That is the River Cree inbox or on the Nasty Chat. Portion of this hour brought to you by the Canadian Brew House. NHL lives at the Canadian Brew House every Oilers game day. Get $1 off tankards of Molson Canadian and Coors Light, and you can win game tickets and 2 tickets to a surf and turf dinner at the end of the season. Full details at thecanadianbrewhouse.com. Coming up next, Hernan's World. Here's Koob with your sports update.
After starting the season in Edmonton, Travis Dermott of the Wild has been claimed off waivers by the Oilers. Dermott, in 19 games this season, has 0 points and has been reassigned to the Bakersfield Condors of the AHL. In 3 games on tap, Kings and Canucks drop the puck while Winnipeg hits the road in Ottawa as the Devils take on the Avalanche, with Vladimir Guerrero returning to the Colorado lineup to play his first game since late December. He's been held out due to a lower body injury. 9 games on tap in the NBA. Toronto meets Indiana, having Scotty Barnes of the Raptors questionable with a hip injury. After that, the Spurs battle the Rockets. Boston hits the court with Detroit, and the Hawks throw it down against the Heat. And back in Edmonton, the Golden Bears football team have named former CFLer Almondo Sewell as the team's defensive line coach. Sewell filled that same position last year on the Elks and also spent 9 years with the team as a player, winning the Grey Cup in 2015. Baseball sees the Blue Jays trailing the Phillies 9-2 at the top of the 9th as spring training continues. The sports update is brought to you by the Capital Care Foundation. Financial support deeply affects residents at Capital Care, and whether it's a one-time donation or a monthly contribution, every penny counts. Find out how you can donate at capitalcarefoundation.net. We have a quick timeout before Hernan's World brings us back on the other side of the break. I'm Zachary Koob, keeping you in the loop.
The EST Hangout.
You are a pro athlete. Your whole world is to play a game. If you're going to lose a game and you play well, I think a lot of people would be like, you lost because of this little error here. The problem is that the doors are getting blown off you every single night because you're not there.
Because the other team was just a little bit better that given night.
Yeah.
The EST Hangout, presented by Sentinel Storage. Weekday mornings 9 to 11, only on Edmonton Sports Talk. Your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
Love is in the air.
I love you.
And you? And you? And you? Why choose between your beloved items? Sentinel Storage, keeping your treasures safe to be loved again. Try 4 weeks free. Details at sentinelstorage.ca.
Hey Edmonton, ready to take advantage of lower rates and better pricing? South Fort Chevrolet in Fort Saskatchewan has you covered. From rugged trucks to sleek SUVs. And with over 40 years in business, you can trust that you're getting the best deal on your new ride. As the proud title sponsor of the Nielsen Show, EST listeners can drive a little to save a lot with South Fort Chevrolet's transparent pricing and down-to-earth sales team. Visit us today in Fort Saskatchewan or online at southfortchev.com.
Your home for live music and great performances is the River Cree Resort and Casino. Don't miss the internationally recognized tribute, the Alan Jackson Experience, April 18th at the River Cree Resort and Casino. Get your tickets at rivercreeresort.com. River Cree Resort and Casino. Excitement? Bet on.
Hungry and need it now? The Canadian Brewhouse Express Lunch, served in under 15 minutes or it's free, Monday to Friday till 2 p.m. Roasted turkey club and soup, Alberta Wagyu ravioli, and more. Fast, fresh, and no excuses. Get to the Canadian Brewhouse. Our house is your house.
.145. Welcome back to Hernan's. Welcome back to EST Afternoons on Edmonton Sports Talk. Your clear choice for Edmonton sports. We're live from the William Huff Studios. Go see Bruce and the crew. They're excellent, friendly, pros pro. Just wonderful, wonderful crew down there at William Huff. We're going to get to, we'll have more Oilers talk for sure. In hour 2, we'll also talk some Blue Jays as well. But I know people are fired up about the good old Edmonton Oilers, and I understand it. It is frustrating seeing this team kind of doing the same things we've seen many times throughout the different seasons, just kind of struggle at certain points in the season, and it is tough, and I understand it. So just stay strong. We'll get through this together. Joaquin, do you know, actually, let's get to, I was going to play something first, so I'm just kind of all over the place right now. It's time for Hernan's World, brought to you by the Garrison, the Edmonton Garrison Memorial Golf Club. Early bird golf memberships are now on sale at the Edmonton Garrison Memorial Golf Club with discounts for seniors and first responders, plus special rates for Sturgeon County residents. Enjoy GPS carts and awesome driving range deals. Inside, you can kick back, enjoy a pint or a pound of wings in their full bar and restaurant. For more info, visit egmgolf.com.
Viva la raza!
So today's the anniversary of this great moment, Gager.
Are you kidding me? That's right. Who do you think you are? I am.
Do you remember that?
I remember it. I didn't know what I was from. Yeah, I remember hearing it on the old station all the time on 1260. And then one time Googling it. What's the guy's name again? What's his?
I'm looking it up. I have it here saved.
I mean, it's better when you watch it live when he and Gary Thorne, I believe, is the commentator. I think I still have it. Gary Thorne did a game I played in the American League with that first lockout.
Yeah.
On the Ocho on ESPN 8, I think. And he's got a kind of an iconic voice, right?
Yeah.
But one of the greatest moments in sports history, that guy hitting the strike and winning the championship. But what a response. Who do you think you are? I am.
13 years ago today, Pete Weber. So in honor of good old Pete Weber, Joaquin, so we're going to go with your favorite celebrations in sports history. Now, it can be a one-off.
Ooh.
It can be a one-off like Terrell Owens with the popcorn, or it can be kind of Usain Bolt always did this.
Yeah.
All right, so I want two from each of you. We can start with Koob, if you'd like.
Two?
Yeah. Or
two.
one.
Okay, well, one that comes to mind is my favorite fighter, Justin Gage. He does a backflip every single time off the cage when he wins. Of course, a lot of athletes kind of, do backflips. But he does it really well. He lands on his feet every time.
Gager?
I got to go with back to the water fountain a few years ago with Alex Ovechkin doing push-ups and swimming after winning the Stanley Cup, going to I think it was a baseball game. And he looked completely obliterated and just going all the time. I've got time for Ovi winning another cup. I'll tell you that. Can you imagine? Yeah, it's good. It's Ovi. It's Ovi.
I gotta say, I have many. It's with my hockey one. It's probably got to be Timo Solani throwing the glove in the air and sniping it. That one was absolutely fantastic. Terrell Owens going to the Dallas Cowboys logo, not once but twice. The second time he got attacked.
Yeah.
There's so many, like the Usain Bolt one was special. You got Jaromir Jagr doing the salute that one year. That was good. Didn't that guy from Washington, Kuznetsov, do the bird?
The bird.
Oh,
yeah.
That was great.
Yeah.
That was great. But like, there's so many cool celebrations. Like soccer has so many.
Oh, yeah. Sweet.
Like the Ronaldo when he runs to the corner and jumps up and does the that is absolutely amazing. So we want to hear from you. 780-218-9999. What's your favorite sports celebration of all time? It could be just a signature for an athlete, or it can be a one-off like our boy good old Terrell Owens. For hockey, Gager, do you have a favorite?
I liked a little subtlety of it. Like when Eric Lindros used to score, he used to just put both hands up in the air.
Yeah.
Right? Like just high over his head. You can never forget like when Mario gave it the subtle, like just fist pump when he scored. That was always, I thought, awesome.
Pavel Bure eliminating Calgary when he threw his stick in the air.
Oh, he threw everything in there. That was good. That sent chills. God, what a pass. Jeff Brown, blue line to blue line, hits Bure, and he puts Vernon in the corner.
Yeah, that's a good one too. A lot of people are sending in Yakupov's slide against the Kings in the regular season.
That was embarrassing.
I was at that game too.
Were you?
Yeah.
I mean, fans loved it. They just went absolutely nuts for that. It was good. Good. I mean, he was an emotional guy. I felt bad for him too. But
it's the same as when Theo Fleury did it. It was playoffs at least, right? Here in Edmonton, when they won the game in overtime, Theo Fleury.
Oh yeah, that was Game 6 though, right?
Game 6, yes.
And then Edmonton went back down.
And then they were down. I think they were down 3-0.
And Tikkanen scored the OT one.
John Muckler calls a timeout. Am I confusing the? Anyways, he calls a timeout, and he's not even. It's Esa Tikkanen going up and down, yelling at them, and then he scores a hat trick.
Yeah,
like that guy was absolutely outstanding. Yeah, I mean, football has a lot of good ones. You had the Dirty Bird,
Falcons Dirty Bird,
the Gronk Spike.
The Gronk Spike is a good one.
The Icky Shuffle.
Tiger Williams on the stick.
Yeah. Yeah, crazy bastard he was.
Juju Smith-Schuster dancing on the logo, TikTok dancing.
The best one. What was his name? Cruz from the Giants. He danced salsa.
Oh, did he?
Every time he scored a touchdown because he was Latino, he would do the little salsa move in the end zone. That was absolutely fantastic.
The Chichi Rodriguez, when he sunk the putt, he took out the sword.
He did
and
the
put it away.
Fighting. Yeah. That's a really good one. A really good one. My favorite would be Barry Sanders handing the ball to the ref after a jaw-dropping TD run. Act like you've been there before. That's from Bones. This one's great. And T-Mac, the rugby guy, Kerwin Bell spikes the ball into his nuts.
Oh, yeah. Tries to show up someone and just nuts himself.
Yeah, nuts himself, and then the guy pushes him over.
That's good.
That's going to be the best one. Good job, T-Mac, on that one.
What was it? Is it Jimmy V when they won the NCAA championship and he's running around trying to hug everyone?
Yeah.
That was great.
So many good ones, man. And there's so many just signature moves, right? Like Randy Moss had one. There's just so much. There's even there's a Carl Edwards backflip in NASCAR. When he would win, I guess he'd do a backflip, which is pretty cool.
What would you call, like, I mean, a lot of guys do it, but Connor McDavid's goal against the USA in the round robin tournament, like the first one he scored, and he does he looks like he's throwing a football or something like that. He does that when he's excited and stuff.
He does when it's a big goal.
Yeah.
No, I know what you're saying. I like Damian Lillard's "It's Time." Like it's time.
What about Curry with "Put Him to Sleep"?
Put Him to Sleep.
Yeah.
Matombo, friend of the morning show, the finger wag.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
That didn't work on MJ.
It did not. LeBron James, the silencer.
What does he do? Oh,
like the stepper. Isn't that what you would call it? Like he steps down, right?
It could be, yeah. Or it's like, calm down, I'm here.
Oh.
Steph Curry's night.
Yeah. The night-night's good.
The night. Tiger Woods fist pump. That's it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And then I think the most iconic for like a signature is the Usain Bolt.
Oh, yeah. When he's making the lightning bolt? Is that what he's doing? Or?
Yeah, I think it is. The Bautista bat flip. Ooh.
That sent chills, man, when he pulled that off.
Then he got punched out.
Yeah.
A few weeks later.
The next year.
Yeah, that's from Cole Harbor. Joe Horn with the cell phone.
Didn't he put it in the upright, didn't he? Or underneath, and he went and grabbed it? That's pretty good.
Barry Getman says, guys, what about moments right before a goal? Omark in the shootout, taking the puck backwards and going in and scoring on Tampa. But he didn't really celebrate. He was just kind of like, yeah, it was a good goal.
I was at that game.
Okay.
And when he just did like a mohawk turn. and the crowd went absolutely nuts. And I thought it was great. Like, it wasn't bad. And I think I've said this before. I got mad at Steven Stamkos afterwards because he said it was disrespectful to the game, him doing that. And then he did the exact same thing the next night, essentially against the Canucks, where he stopped the train and went around and scored in the shootout. I was like, geez.
Gager, those were tough times for Oiler fans.
Oh my gosh.
We were celebrating anything and everything, so it didn't really matter. And then,
well, it's pretty bad because Allmark was supposed to save the franchise a little bit too. He was one of the big pieces of the puzzle back then.
I always liked him, man. I thought he was awesome. Also on this day, Gager, the movie Bloodsport.
Oh, the Kumite
was released in theaters in North America. Is that your favorite combat fight movie?
I mean, I was a huge fan of the Van Damme. I like Seagal too, even though he was just a moron. God, there's some of the stories about Seagal are just epic. But I liked Van Damme. I don't know. You got to put. I mean, it was great because the martial arts stuff.
Yeah.
But you have to say your favorite combat sports. Well, it's got to be Rocky.
Rocky's up there for sure. How about anything involving Bruce Lee?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't watch Enter the Dragon and was huge. Fists of Fury.
Yeah,
remember that one? But yeah, I didn't. I watched. Those are the only two I watched with Bruce Lee. I guess. I mean, are you talking about movies though? Like,
yeah.
Hero with Jet Li is awesome.
Oh, okay.
And Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon is another one that's fantastic.
Beverly Hills Ninja. How about Here Comes the Boom?
Oh, Here Comes the Boom is good, actually.
I love that movie. It's hilarious.
But there's a lot
Kevin
of
James.
under the radar ones like Southpaw.
That was good.
That was good. And there's another one where $1 Million Baby.
Oh, that one's
sad.
The Clint Eastwood one.
Yeah, that's crushing.
That's terrible.
I heard Raging Bull.
Raging Bull.
Yeah.
Remember Kickboxing with Jean-Claude when he's kicking the
Kickboxer?
tree? Yeah, Kickboxer.
Oh, yeah. When the guy puts his...
What was that movie when five guys go to compete in... they're all like... And one of them is like an army guy and he fights with one arm at the end because he got hurt and they had to like sling it.
It's the U.S. against the Korean team.
Yes,
and it's with it's what's his name? Roberts, Julia Roberts' brother. Oh shoot! I remember as a kid watching that. I cried because at the end, what's the line? And at the end, you can. Because he killed his buddy or whatever at the end. Sorry for the spoiler alerts, whatever.
I don't think anyone's going to watch. What's that movie called? It's going to drive me crazy now.
Just look up Eric Roberts
movies.
Eric Roberts Taekwondo.
Right. Let's see. What was it called?
It was just on TV, I want to say, like a few weeks ago.
Man, he's made a lot of movies.
Yeah.
Oh man, what the frig was the name of that movie?
Shoot. Come on, who? Best of the best.
Best of the best.
That's it. Thanks, DB in the nasty chat. And yeah, good job.
That's good.
It was a great movie. A great movie.
Oh,
I like that one.
But there's a lot of underrated. I saw one on Netflix with Miles Teller. I think it's a true story of a boxer who gets in a car accident and then he gets real severely injured and comes back to like fight.
Oh, really?
Yeah. What's that one called? Man, I'm terrible at this.
Well, the Mickey, was it the Mickey Ward one with
the fighter?
Yeah, that's with Christian Bale.
And Wahlberg.
Yeah,
that's a good movie.
That's a really good movie.
I went back and watched the real fights.
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
those were just
awesome.
Crazy. They killed each other.
But I think Bloodsport has to be up there in everybody's list.
Oh yeah, because that was the first. The Frank Dukes. It's a true story. Like he went and competed in that, and he held the record for the fastest knockout. Right? It was like
You know, I didn't know it was a true story until about a couple of years ago.
Really?
I almost fell off my rock, man. I cannot.
Yeah, it was the original Fight Club, like all underground stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah.
John Carlos says Vinny Pizenza. That's the Netflix.
Oh,
Yeah.
the Paz. Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool. Are you into fighting movies?
Oh, yeah. They're usually quite good, right?
Like the Rockies, the Creeds are all good. Which one's your favorite Creed? First one?
It's got to be the first one. Yeah.
But even when they brought Drago in the second, I was like, this is awesome.
They have 3, though, right?
Yeah.
I don't think I watched 3 with...
Three's when he fights his friend that came out of prison. And
is it any good?
It's good, but when you compare it to the other two, it's third on the list for sure.
Okay.
All right, we got to get to a break here. Coming up in the second hour, we'll talk some Blue Jays with Tyson. How do you say that again? They're young Shushkewich. From Blue Jays Nation. We'll get a good scoop on what's going on with the Blue Jays, and we'll continue the Oilers talk. Send us your favorite fight movies of all time, and also let us know what was your favorite celebration, whether it was a one-off or a kind of signature move for an athlete. Send those to 780-218-9999. That is the River Cree inbox. Hit us up on the Nasty Chat. And, of course, slam that thumbs up. We want to get to 100 today. We're only at 59. So, please, if you're watching live stream on YouTube, hit that thumbs up. We're back after the break.
The Reed Wilkins Show with Jay Milne.
If I were going to criticize Skinner, it wouldn't be that he lets in bad goals, because I do think at times he hasn't made the big, difficult save to bail the Oilers out when they have made mistakes.
The gap between a goalie that gets you those saves and steals the game to those that don't, it isn't astronomical, but it would be nice to have a few more.
The Reed Wilkins Show with Jay Milne, weekday afternoon 3 to 6, only on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
Celebrating 70 years in the signage industry, William Huff Advertising is the most recognized name in the game. An in-house, one-stop shop for all of your design, print, and installation needs. William Huff provides quality graphic solutions for everyone. Here in our City of Champions and throughout the nation, they are the preferred signage partner entrusted by many of the biggest corporations, pro sports teams, and organizations to bring their identity to life. Recognize the name, get in the game. WilliamHuff.com.
Looking for a winning strategy for your retirement? Contact me, Joaquin Gage at K4 Financial, where expertise meets dedication. I will always look for a careful approach to your retirement, ensuring your financial future is secure. From tailored strategies to clear, actionable advice, I'm here to guide you every step of the way. Don't leave your future to chance. Get in touch with me, Joaquin Gage, today at k4financial.ca or email joaquin.gage@k4financial.ca to start planning for a brighter future and a more secure retirement.
Your home for live music and great performances is the River Cree Resort and Casino. Don't miss the internationally recognized tribute, the Alan Jackson Experience, April 18th at the River Cree Resort and Casino. Get your tickets at rivercreeresort.com. River Cree Resort and Casino. Excitement? Bet on.
Travis Dermott is back in the Oilers system, being claimed off waivers from the Wild. Dermott began the season in Edmonton, suiting up in 10 games, and has now been reassigned to the AHL. A light slate has the battered Ottawa squad hosting Winnipeg, the Kings battling the Canucks, while Vladimir Guerrero returns for the Avalanche, being out since late December due to a lower body injury to take on the Devils. Guerrero had 17 points for 11 goals in 21 games before his injury. Elsewhere, Oil Kings are back in action to face the Wheat Kings as Lethbridge meets Prince Albert, having 2 games in the WHL. And former Elks coach Almondo Sewell has been hired by the Golden Bears football team to be their next defensive line coach. The former CFLer played 9 years in Edmonton, winning the 2015 Grey Cup. And at the bottom of the 9th, the Jays are down 9-3 to the Phillies as spring training rolls on. I'm Zachary Kubusch. That was your sports update. The second hour of EST Afternoons starts right now.
2:06. Welcome back to EST Afternoons here on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports. Joaquin, Gage, Hernan, Salas, Zachary Koob Kubusch in the house. Coming up at 3, it'll be Reed Wilkins with Jay Milne. They'll take you right up until 6, and then send you off into your evening to relax. Tonight, back at it tomorrow with another Oilers game day as they're in Florida to take on the Panthers, and things could get really, really ugly. Like always, we're live from the William Huff Studios here on the west side of the city. Keep hammering that thumbs up. Keep hitting us up on the Nasty Chat and text us on the River Cree inbox, 780-218-9999. Tyson Shushkewich from Blue Jays Nation will join us at 2:20, and we'll continue the Edmonton Oilers talk, of course, in Hernan's world. Favorite fight movies, as today, many, many moons ago, I think 35 years ago, Bloodsport was released in theaters here in North America. And, of course, your favorite celebration as Pete Weber, is it? The bowling guy? You've heard it on the morning show. Who do you think you are? I am. That happened 13 years ago today, so we want to know your favorite celebration in sports history. All right, Joaquin, a few questions to ask you here. We're going to continue the Oiler conversation.
Let's do it.
I mean, and, everybody says hindsight. Yeah, the Oilers missed on a few so far, on the few of the signings they've made. They haven't worked out the way they've wanted to. You think it ties in any way? Like, did they choose these guys over a Dylan Holloway? I'm talking about Arvidsson and Jeff Skinner. Did they? Is there a direct, correlation between those players that they said, you know what, guys, we can probably get Jeff Skinner and Victor Arvidsson and screw these other guys?
It's a great question, buddy. You wonder what I think if I look back to that time, obviously your first inclination is to solidify secondary scoring, right?
Yeah.
And I think that was the whole
that was the reason for it.
Yeah, that was the thinking. Okay, we can insulate now with these two players. They've shown that they can score in the past. Score, Jeff Skinner, not really, but he scored a lot. You think you're getting a very motivated goal scorer that's going to finally get a chance to play in the playoffs, right? There was that whole narrative surrounding Jeff Skinner. Mm-hmm. And look, we've seen what Arvidsson has been able to do in the past. Like when he played on the Kings, he was a pest. He was hard to play against.
Yeah.
And so, look, I know I sound a little bit like a broken record, but and you want guys feeling good about themselves, but you'd want to see a little bit more contributions offensively from these guys. And Skinner, I don't know, how many goals do you think he would have scored like at the beginning of last season? Were you thinking 30? I was.
Yeah. I mean, he's done it. So,
he's done it, and now he's playing with a bona fide guy, right? Either Connor or Leon. I thought you finally have a duo with one of those guys. I don't know who it would work with, but I thought that was a no-brainer. And then you really thought that your top two lines were solidified at this point. But
has he really given those three a chance together? He hasn't.
Not with Skinner. I think you've seen enough of Arvidsson, right?
I
don't, unless
it's not working.
No, and I mean, you look at you mentioned. I don't want to mention Dylan Holloway because that just makes people sad. But I mean, he's having a good year. If you gave Dylan Holloway more responsibilities, does he have the same type of year that he's having in St. Louis? I gotta say, yeah,
because the Holloway offer sheet for the money that was offered wasn't that big.
Wasn't that bad at all.
It wasn't. But again, Jeff Jackson looked at it and probably said, we got our site. We already have Arvidsson. We already have Skinner.
You thought that those guys were going to put up probably, it's a 40 to 45 goals combined.
Because he signed, because the offer sheets were signed. Let me look this up. Yeah, because August 13th. So he had already signed Janmark. He already signed Henrique. But that to me is, and I understand Holloway's point of view, is like, you're really signing Janmark, Henrique, Corey Perry, and before me.
It's not like they weren't in negotiations.
So I feel like that's why his agent went and said, "Hey, let's push these guys' hands, and then we'll get you a good deal." Did he want to stay? It sure looked like he did. But I think Jeff, because this is Jeff Jackson.
Yeah.
It's not Stan Bowman. Jeff Jackson, I think he made an error here because of all the guys I mentioned, Janmark, Henrique, Arvidsson, Skinner, Perry. I would replace any of those 5 guys, Gager, and I'm being completely honest with Dylan Holloway right now.
Yeah. So, okay. Right now, it does look like an error on Jeff Jackson's part, right? But I still think Oilers are going to make the playoffs. Okay.
Yeah.
And it all depends. I mean, it's a tough way to measure a successful season, but they have to get back to the Stanley Cup final for this to be a successful signings in my eyes that Jeff Jackson did this year. If they're out in the first round and there's no contributions, you have Jeff Skinner sitting in the press box watching. This is a huge miss by the management staff of evaluating your team and what you really want and having the eye to see talent of what guys are able to bring.
And for the people that always say the Oilers don't go all in, well, I think they did with Arvidsson and Skinner because they thought they were going to improve their top 6.
They went all in right away.
Yeah. So
and they thought they were going to have Holloway and Broberg.
Yeah. That's a good point. It's so damn interesting right now because Arvidsson hasn't lived up to the hype.
It's funny how winning just makes all these questions go away.
Yeah.
You know, it's like now we just question every little thing they've done, but they're making it easy for us to question every little thing because you haven't got what you expected from these 2 players. But like we said, we don't understand why Jeff Skinner's in the press box. Like I don't get it. Like
they were just as bad defensively yesterday with Jeff Skinner out of the lineup.
And from he's been showing, I thought he's been engages a little bit more physically. That's what you want.
It's obvious he's not one of Knob's guys. And this is the first time since Knob's been here, and it hasn't been long, that he's taking some heat for some decisions. And I think it's all fair. The PK sucks. It does. It's terrible. And
it looks so lackluster and that was probably the biggest factor in how the Edmonton Oilers got to the Stanley Cup Finals last year. Was their PK. It was I remember it got to the point, I think other teams said, we might just, if we could just say, no, you know what, we'll keep playing 5-on-5 right here. Because all they're doing is we're chasing the puck back to our own end and they're getting a ton of juice. And they're coming back with Connor and Leon and just completely turning the tide of the game and getting an emotional kick. Now it's, you're just you're hanging on. Hopefully you can get through the 2 minutes.
Yeah, it's
they got to do something with that, man, because that was their biggest strength last year was that PK.
Yeah,
say what you want about the power play. It was the PK.
No, they lost some key players on the PK. Let's be honest. They did. Maybe that's the reason why. Who knows? But they've been leaky for now. A couple of obviously outside of the 4 Nations break, but for the last 2-3 weeks, they've been struggling mightily on the PK. And I don't know what else you do. Do you go with Stuart Skinner tomorrow?
Yep. You run this guy now, man. Can't tell me
he made big saves. He just didn't make the save that he needed to.
He's getting more rest on this road trip than he is at home, so he should be fine.
And the boys have the day off today.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting. Who would you take out for Jeff Skinner?
I mean, who would I take out?
Yeah.
I would take out Arvidsson.
Ooh, really?
I like the fire now, man. I need something. I need to see something.
I kind of like that. Arvidsson, he hasn't been good. I'd take out Kapanen, the easy one.
That's an easy one. But I'm thinking taking out Arvidsson really sends a message, too.
Yeah. We'll see. Obviously, no skate today for the boys, so we'll find out tomorrow. We probably won't find out till game time, Joaquin, because they'll do optional tomorrow.
Yeah, I guess.
So I gotta find this, but who was the guy you always see at the Terwilliger Dog Park?
Tyler.
Yeah, he said, you can give me your number if you want to see me that bad.
Well, not that bad. Jeez.
Did you see Seth Jones' comments last night?
So I didn't see them, but I heard
Or hear them.
I heard about them. So he's sounds like his huggies are getting too big.
So he just said, he goes, and I'm not going word for word, but the gist of it was, we haven't improved since the first game of the season. And very upset, and he's frustrated, and he said, our goalie stands on his head, we can't do anything. This isn't a veteran guy that's trying to get out of there, and that price tag is going to hurt him.
Is it though?
Yeah,
cap's going up.
I know, but how many teams are willing to take that on? I mean, I'd love Seth Jones in Edmonton. I just don't see it reasonable now. You can't have Bouchard, Nurse, and Seth Jones. It's unrealistic.
Well, Bouchard, I don't know if this continues. I don't know what that means for his contract negotiations. Right? It doesn't help.
I mean, if he's asking for $10-11 million after this year, holy smokes! Like if there's no improvement in his defensive game,
you can't give him that.
It'd be ridiculous.
Right? You can't. I don't know, man. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens there, because you definitely, if you give him a lot, I guess, what would you say, around 10, you can't lock, there can't be a lot of term on that.
No.
Because.
But does Bush sign a 2-3 year deal and kind of bet on himself again? As I'm telling you right now, if Sam Bowman signs him, he's going to regret it for that amount of money.
Yeah.
And listen, and we're dealing with Evan Bouchard in the now, and he hasn't been very good defensively. Because I think Raider Jesse sent me a stat on the inbox saying that, did you know that he was the 12th or 10th best, goals against on ice? Blah,
really?
Yeah. And this is where analytics, because the analytics don't show him on the ice. It doesn't. The demeanor.
Yeah, I know.
The lackluster efforts.
The eye test compared to the analytics don't match.
Doesn't match.
It doesn't match at all.
And I'm not saying Raider Jesse's wrong. He's not wrong. He's sending me analytical numbers which state that, he's not as bad as we think. But when you watch the game, he is not. And we have to be specific because he's bad defensively. Offensively,
we have to be specific. He's bad.
Well, because offensively, he's not bad.
I know. Yeah, I mean, the guy can pass the puck, man.
He can make the moves on the blue line.
Yeah, it's. But again, if you were to tell me that there would be March, almost the 1st of March, and Evan Bouchard has one power play goal, I'd think you were crazy.
He has 0.
Yeah.
Yeah. He doesn't have a power play.
Wouldn't have one, but yeah, that's what I said, didn't I?
Oh, no, you said 1.
Oh.
Yeah.
Did I? Oh, I meant wouldn't have
one. Or maybe
one.
you're giving an example. I don't know.
No, man. It's like you said, this isn't a slump anymore. This is a down year. So maybe this is what the Bouchard can do. Like, and this is what it happens with a lot of players too, is you get to the playoffs, it's a new season. What happens at the start of playoffs? Everyone goes back to 0.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what happened before.
And if he's great in the playoffs, I think everybody's going to forget the regular.
Be a Claude Lemieux, man.
We got to get out as we're going to talk some Blue Jays coming up next. The afternoon inbox is presented by the River Cree Resort and Casino, home of the Kitchen Restaurant. All you can eat surf and turf for just $59.99 every Friday from 4 to 10 p.m. Blue Jays talk on the way next. Keep it locked here on EST Afternoons. Joaquin, Gage, Hernan, Salas, Zachary Koob Kubusch, as we get you set also for the Reed Wilkins Show with Jay Milne coming at the top of the hour. Keep slamming those thumbs up. Let's get to 100 as we say hello to the Winnipeggers, the Hustlerites, the WSTers. Once again, thank you for taking the time to join us here on EST Afternoons. We're back after the break, but first, here's Koob with your sports update.
The Oilers have claimed Travis Dermott off waivers from Minnesota, assigning him to the AHL. Dermott started the season in Edmonton, suiting up in 10 games with the Oilers. Meanwhile, Vladimir Guerrero returns for the Avalanche against the Devils, suiting up in his first game since late December. Guerrero had 11 goals and 17 points through 21 games this season before missing time due to a lower body injury. Elsewhere, Vancouver plays LA, while the Jets drop the puck against the Sens. And on the court, the Raptors and Pacers take on the Pacers with Toronto's Scotty Barnes questionable because of a hip issue. Meanwhile, the Nets and Thunder go at it. The 76ers and Knicks tip off while the Clippers meet the Bulls, seeing 9 games around the association. And back in Edmonton, the U of A Golden Bears football team has hired Almondo Sewell as the team's next defensive lines coach. Sewell coached on the Elks last year and also played 9 seasons with the team, winning the 2015 Grey Cup. In baseball, the Jays dropped a 9-6 decision to the Phillies, with Toronto recording 4 runs in the 9th inning. After the break, we will talk some Jays with Tyson Shushkewich on the other side of the break. I'm Zachary Koob for your sports update.
Get your fix every single game with the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame and postgame shows with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas. Whether it's breaking down the starting lineup, predicting key matchups, or diving deep into the game's biggest moments, Tom and Hernan are here to give you the best insight and analysis in the city. After the final horn, get the breakdown of every key moment, performance, and player reactions. It's your one-stop shop for all things game day. Catch the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame and postgame shows with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas, only on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
Make your birthday legendary at the Canadian Brewhouse with epic food, killer drinks, and an unbeatable vibe. Plus, download the Canadian Brewhouse app and score free nachos on your big day. Book your party now to celebrate like a pro. The Canadian Brewhouse. Our house is your house.
Love is in the air.
I love you.
And you? And you? And you! Why choose between your beloved items? Sentinel Storage, keeping your treasures safe to be loved again. Try 4 weeks free. Details at sentinelstorage.ca.
Hey Edmonton, ready to take advantage of lower rates and better pricing? South Fort Chevrolet in Fort Saskatchewan has you covered. From rugged trucks to sleek SUVs. And with over 40 years in business, you can trust that you're getting the best deal on your new ride. As the proud title sponsor of the Nielsen Show, EST listeners can drive a little to save a lot with South Fort Chevrolet's transparent pricing and down-to-earth sales team. Visit us today in Fort Saskatchewan or online at southfortchev.com.
Got some gently used furniture or home goods that need a new home? Find Edmonton is here to help. Every month we furnish over 100 homes to those transitioning out of homelessness, and we need your gently used furniture and home goods. Drop off at 5120 122nd Street or call for free local pickup. Just visit findedmonton.com to learn how your donations can help create a home for someone in need. Plus shop our thrift store, in-store or online, with proceeds benefit those moving out of homelessness through housing supports. Visit us at findedmonton.com. Find Edmonton, supporting our community one home at a time.
.25, welcome back to EST Afternoons. Joaquin, Gage, Hernan Salas here with you on Edmonton Sports Talk. Keep sending the messages to the River Korean Box, 780-218-9999. Hit us up on the nasty chat. And don't forget to slam that thumbs up. And if you missed anything, you want to listen later while you're working out or going for a walk with the good old dog, Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts, just look up EST Afternoons and every show on Edmonton Sports Talk and hit that follow button. All it will do is push our content to the top of your platform on on Spotify or Apple. We're going to switch gears here, talk a little bit Blue Jays. We haven't talked about them as they just finished up a game with Tyson Shushkewich. Tyson, how you doing? Nope, not there yet. Tyson, you there? No, there's nothing there, Koob. Koob will reconnect with Tyson there as we'll bring him back on air. It'll be fun. You ever watched any baseball in the U.S. in your travels?
Well, we went out to Durham. I didn't see the game, but the Durham Bulls. And that was pretty cool to go see the AAA ballpark. I used to go to the Vancouver Canadians games.
Okay.
But I've never been to a Major League Baseball game.
So I went to the Vancouver Canadians in my last trip with the Elks.
Oh, did you?
I went with JMO.
How great is that stadium?
Oh, it was awesome.
With that view, it's one of the there was a thing I remember in the paper decades ago or whatever, and there was this this mom and pop. They went to every single ball diamond all over. Like they went on this big trip. And they rated the one in Vancouver one of the best just because sitting there, you got the massive trees and the mountains in the background. And it was on a hot day. You can't beat that stadium.
It was great. And James was the one that was like, we got to go to a game there. And I'm glad we did because it was a good experience. Great ballpark. Like you said, the background's
awesome.
Crazy. All right. We got Tyson. Tyson, how you doing today?
Doing well, thanks. Yourself?
Pretty good. Tyson, before we get to talk some baseball, I know our producer was asking you, but you know one of our producers here, and we call him YouTube Trev, but Trevor Party. It seems like you guys grew up together or something?
Yeah, we're from the same small town in southern Alberta, Tabor, where the land of the corn grows.
Nice. Well, sorry you know him, but he's a great kid, and he does great work here too. Tyson,
I'm glad to hear it.
Tyson, you cover the Blue Jays. I mean, no shortage of stories regarding following that team right now. I guess before we get to their exhibition play right now, Vladdy put his own deadline on the team to sign a new contract. It didn't happen. How are the vibes surrounding that team right now and with the fan base that potentially Vladdy could move on by the end of the year or even at the deadline?
Yeah, I think from a team perspective, it's not as much, right? Like they're professionals. They know it's a business. They understand the game and everything that comes with it. And I think when you look at the big picture, like they understand where he's coming from, right? Like they all know that he wants to get paid, respectively, given how contracts in the MLB work. Like he's gonna get paid, and at the end of the day, I think it just falls more on the fan base, being upset that their face of the franchise isn't signed to a long-term deal. And when you look across Major League Baseball, there are so many players that are the face of their franchise, right? Like Aaron Judge with the Yankees, Rafael Devers with the Red Sox, Julio Rodriguez with the Mariners, right? And the Blue Jays don't have that guy, right? And after the 6 years of having Bichette and Guerrero and going through this rebuild and to not have either one of them extended for a long time, it's tough for a fan base, right? And then you throw on top of that Ohtani and Soto and Burns, so the fans are, I think, a little bit happy because they at least made some moves this offseason compared to last offseason, but it's definitely brought down everything a couple pegs to know that Guerrero could potentially leave next winter.
Tyson, you're looking for any kind of spark, usually out of spring training. Is Jose Barrios one of these bright lights? It seems like he's kind of shown a little bit so far in this spring training with the Blue Jays.
Yeah, Barrios, he's such a consistent guy that when he had that rough season a couple of years back with the Blue Jays, it was tough to see, right? Like they traded some top prospects, brought him in, and the expectation was he was going to be that type of frontline arm that goes out and gives you so many innings a year and so many starts a year, and he's just such a workhorse, right? And I think what's important with him is that his versatility in the sense that going out there that he's going to give you, some games are not always going to be as pretty. They're going to be gritty, and he's going to really have to work through it and find a way to get through 5 innings. But then he's going to have days where he's lights out, sweeping pitch there is just firing on all cylinders, and he's struck out 10 going 8 innings, right? So I think with him and the way the rest of the rotation is currently set up right now, it's definitely a plus. And especially since, again, some of the members of that rotation are free agent eligible in the next few years, I think, and that's Barrios included, right, with his options. So I think he's a big part of this team, and there's a lot of guys, Gosman, Bassett, and even Scherzer now, right? Like that's a pretty solid 4 out of 5 heading into this year where it is a big season for the Blue Jays.
I kind of want to get back to the management of the team, Tyson. How much heat is on Atkins and Shapiro there? Because from the outside looking in here in Edmonton and the fan base, like you say, it seems like they're not in the good books with a lot of, or the majority of the fan base. Is there a lot of heat on these two guys, or is it just coming from the fans?
Oh no, they're on the hot seat. They, after last season, it goes back even further than last season, right? Like when Shapiro and Atkins joined the organization, the expectation was that they were going to shed payroll, they were going to go through this rebuild, and you were going to see, the oasis on the other side, right? Mm-hmm. The internal moves and all these different things. They're going to make a team that's going to bring postseason baseball back to Toronto. And the problem is it has happened, but it hasn't happened with success. The Blue Jays haven't won a postseason series since Shapiro and Atkins inherited the team in 2016, right? Which was on the back of a bunch of veterans that Anthopoulos brought in. So I think with them, right, the key thing this winter is that they had to be active, right? And a lot of people weren't 100% sure if Atkins was going to come back, because at the end of the day, Mark Shapiro is a figurehead, but he's kind of done his job, right, to a certain degree. He did the renovations in Dunedin. He did the renovations in the Rogers Center. Yeah, he's part of some of the, the day-to-day stuff, but a lot of that falls on Atkins. And for the most part, Atkins has fallen short, right? Yeah. Like the team hasn't won in the postseason. And after the season that they had last year, where it was, again, they were trying to sign Ohtani, and they were trying to do all these things, and just to end up having to sell players at the trade deadline to try and recoup for next year. Like, for Blue Jays fans, it's not good enough, right? Especially since you still had Bichette and Guerrero not extended to long-term contracts. So they're on the hot seat this year. I know their contracts are a little bit different, and that Shapiro, I believe, is a free agent, if you will, after this year, and Atkins still has 2. But it's not easy to say that if the Blue Jays have a losing season, I don't think either one of them's around in the near future. And I think that's based on the fact that there's no track record for them to fall back on, to go and say, yep, you get another chance at a rebuild, or yep, you get another chance at this. Now, they have some positives. They brought a lot of good free agents north of the border when previous general managers struggled to do so. Yeah. But again, you have no postseason record to back up those moves. So at the end of the day, it's tough to argue why you should be there.
Are there any other top prospects that you might see on the opening day roster coming out of camp?
Yeah, the Blue Jays are in a really interesting position because they didn't do a lot of heavy lifting when it comes to bench players, right? So yeah. I think if you're looking at this team, you have a couple open spots that are really for the taking, right? Like third base is kind of Ernie Clements to lose, right? And after the season he put last year, I think he's earned that right, like a Gold Glove defense, solid contact, a little bit more putting the ball in play would be great. But again, he's earned, I think, the right to say third base is his to start the year. But then you just have a lot of open bench spots and some positions that are kind of up for grabs, right? Like Dalton Varsho might not be ready to start the year, so you need an outfielder who's going to take some reps out there, whether that's in left or center. You don't know what's going to happen with Anthony Santander, if he is going to be in the DH spot or if he's going to be in a corner outfield spot. But you still have a few of these bench spots up for grabs, and that includes, the Blue Jays don't have a set designated backup catcher yet, right? Like it could be Heineman, it could be Bethencourt, it could be a couple other guys that they brought in. But then you look at the infield, right? And you have a smorgasbord of, a lot of people would like to call AAA players, but guys that have been knocking on the door looking for the opportunity, right? And so one of the big names is Orelvis Martinez, right? Who was going to have the season last year until he got suspended for the PEDs. if he has a strong spring, I don't see why he doesn't get some reps in the DH spot and makes the opening day roster. You got Will Wagner, who can play third base, but we saw him more at second base, but he had a really strong showing. Like after the trade, he was part of he forced his way onto the big league roster because he just wouldn't stop hitting in Buffalo, right, in a short sample size. So, and then on top of that, you just have a bunch of other guys that are in the same boat, right? Like Addison Parger, Joey Loperfido, Stuart Burrow. Like you have guys that are going to be there. If I had to put a circle around a guy, I don't think he starts the year at the Blue Jays, but I think you're going to see him in 2025 is Alan Rodon, the outfielder. And I think he's going to have a really big year. And I think a lot of Blue Jays fans and a lot of the Blue Jays personnel expect the same thing. And again, I don't think he starts the year in the big leagues. I think he gets a little bit more seasoning in AAA. And if he has a strong start, again, they're going to have to find a way to bring him up to the big leagues and have him contribute in the season where the Blue Jays need to win.
Tyson, one last one for you here. How short is the leash on John Schneider this season?
I would say he has an okay leash, like a middle of the road.
Okay.
And the reason I say that is because when I look back at last season, there wasn't a lot that you could really pinpoint and be like, oh, that's John Schneider's fault. Oh, that's John Schneider's fault. What are you doing there? Now, the season before, he had some hiccups, right? Where you were kind of like, oh, what are you doing there? That's a weird move, right? Like, why didn't you do the pinch hit here? Kind of like, you know what I mean? Like, and I think this season, again, John Schneider, it would be more of a figurehead move to be like, hey guys, we're not winning. We need to do something. And this is the spark we're doing. Again, Schneider has been a fine manager. He hasn't been amazing. He hasn't been terrible. And I think at the end of the day, he's got a bit of a leash to work with these guys because if worse comes to worse in the middle of the summer and they're trading players away anyway, the manager's the least of your problem at that point, right? Like he's not the guy that you're like, oh, he's the reason we're here, right? It's like, no, the team, like again, last summer, the Blue Jays were losing like crazy and they traded a bunch of guys. It's like, well, John Schneider can only put whoever he could put in the lineup, right? Like that is what it is, right? So I think he's got a bit of a leash, but if the Blue Jays are going to start, whether it's a rebuild or cleaning house or trying to do whatever, they might consider bringing in someone new just to be like, hey, we're gonna flush things out. But at the same time, that'll come with the new front office anyway.
Tyson, great stuff. Great breakdown. I'm sure we'll have you on during the season that kicks off here. We're still a few weeks away, but great stuff. And we'll have you on again once the regular season kicks off. Thank you for your time.
Pleasure, guys. Thanks for having me.
Tyson Shushkewich, Blue Jays Nation. That was a great breakdown, man. Great breakdown. Blue Jays are 3-1 so far in grapefruit action. They just lost their first game 9-6 today to the Phillies, but Max Scherzer went yesterday, 2 innings. I think he had 4 Ks, so not a bad start here, but a long ways to go before the regular season starts as a lot of grapefruit action coming up. And the Blue Jays will kick off on March 27th against the Orioles, a 4-game set there, so that'll be fun. Kudos to Koob for hooking that up. Portions of this hour brought to you by the Canadian Brew House. The Canadian Brew House wing flavors of the month are going head-to-head. Spicy dill versus bang bang sauce. Which one's got your vote? Head to the Canadian Brew House for wing night and find out. Our house is your house. Canadian Brew House. Coming up next, we'll wrap up the EST Afternoons with more Oilers and whatever you'd like to talk about here as we get you set up for the Reed Wilkins and J. Milne show. Let's keep hammering that thumbs up. Let's get to 100. We got 20 minutes, so let's get there. We're at 83, only 17 more. We're back after the break. Here's Koob with your sports update.
After starting the season in Edmonton, Travis Dermott of the Wild has been claimed off waivers by the Oilers. And Dermott, in 19 games this season, has 0 points and has been reassigned to the AHL. And on tap, the Kings and Canucks drop the puck. Winnipeg hits the road in Ottawa, while the Devils take on the Avalanche as Valerie Nichushkin returns to action for the first time since late December, missing time with a lower body injury. 9 games dot the NBA slate. Toronto meets Indiana, having Scotty Barnes of the Raptors questionable with a hip injury. After that, the Spurs battle the Rockets. Boston hits the court against Detroit, and the Hawks throw it down with the Heat. The football team have hired former CFLer Almondo Sewell as the team's defensive line coach. Sewell filled that same position last year with the Elks and spent 9 years in the green and gold as a player, winning the Cup in 2015. The Jays attempted a late comeback, recording 4 runs in the final inning against the Phillies, ultimately losing 9-6 in spring training. This sports update is brought to you by Windsor Plywood Leduc, locally owned and operated since 1993. They're more than just plywood. They offer everything from doors and flooring to decking, fencing, and custom millwork. Windsor Plywood Leduc. They're the experts you need to know. The final segment of EST Afternoons brings us back on the other side of these messages. I'm Zachary Koob Kubusch for your sports update.
2 guys and a goalie.
As soon as I saw it go to McDavid in the slot, I can't even remember the next minute. Like, it was just, I hadn't felt that since I was a kid.
Isn't that just the coolest thing about sports? Sports at its best, Dusty, do exactly what you described.
Yes.
And we all had that same feeling in that moment of, it's like that warm, fuzzy, it's joy.
2 guys and a goalie, presented by GS Construction. Tuesday and Thursday afternoons at noon, only on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
Your home for live music and great performances is the River Cree Resort and Casino. Don't miss the internationally recognized tribute, the Alan Jackson Experience, April 18th at the River Cree Resort and Casino. Get your tickets at rivercreeresort.com. River Cree Resort and Casino. Excitement? Bet on.
Celebrating 70 years in the signage industry, William Huff Advertising is the most recognized name in the game. An in-house, one-stop shop for all of your design, print, and installation needs. William Huff provides quality graphic solutions for everyone. Here in our City of Champions and throughout the nation, they are the preferred signage partner entrusted by many of the biggest corporations, pro sports teams, and organizations to bring their identity to life. Recognize the name, get in the game. WilliamHuff.com.
You want the heavy hitters on your team, both on and off the ice. If you've been injured in a car accident, call the heavy hitters of injury law. James H. Brown and Associates, Alberta Injury Lawyers. With over 200 years of combined injury law experience, their precedent-setting lawyers are ready to help. Locally owned and proud Edmonton Oilers fans, James H. Brown and Associates wants to support you with their unrivaled experience, unrivaled results, and unrivaled commitment. When accidents happen, head to jameshbrown.com.
2:44. Some Latin flavor there for you. Good job, Koob. Wednesday afternoon. Go for wings at the Canadian Brew House. Hot. That's all Hernan gets is hot. I like them all, but hot is the way to go for wings.
You only had one of mine.
I know. Well, because I just had my lunch, so it's kind of full.
Oh.
EST Afternoons, Edmonton Sports Talk. Hammer that thumbs up. We're only 13 away, Gager. We get hit 100 for the first time this week. And the Oilers, not a good start to the week. Can they bounce back? I think they can. They've shown us that they're a really good team when they want to be. But lately, the last game before the Four Nations and the 3 games after the Four Nations, just been bad. Connor McDavid, man. It's
not having a McDavid type of season. Is he hurt?
And he's like 4th in scoring. And it's
I know.
Just like,
it's weird to even say that. I know. But you just, again, this is eye test stuff. So from the outside looking in, what do you look to first when you look at other teams? You see the stat line, how they're doing, right? You look at a goalie. Oh, but maybe their numbers are good, but yeah, they're not getting the right save at the right time. Like I like the eye test. I don't like just going off stats and things. I'd like to watch certain teams play and say, okay, I can see why that guy is considered to having a bad season or in a slump, but
The minuses are not good for him, man.
no, it's not a good look.
And he didn't look good yesterday.
He hasn't looked good. I mean, it's hard. Like, it's tough because I just find that he hasn't had those consistent, like, dominating shifts where he has the puck and he's setting guys up to score and he's a threat for a long time. And I even go into the I mean, he had his moments at the Four Nations, definitely huge moments, but aside from that first game again in Montreal against the US, where that first 6 minutes where he was dancing, after that it was pretty.
He wasn't very good.
Pedestrian for Connor McDavid.
In the final game, up until the goal,
he didn't touch the puck.
He wasn't very good. So what is going on with our guy Connor McDavid? He just seems off. I think Draisaitl has been just outstanding for this team. He's been great. He's not
grumpy now. I like at least with Draisaitl, and when things are going bad, he has his heart on his sleeve a little bit, right? Like he shows that he's mad and cares and cross. Like, I don't mind that, and I think you need more of that, more passion, more energy, more passion, more energy,
more passion. Jason and Leduc, I fear this team's weighing analytics far too heavily. I also fear Jeff Jackson is a Mark Shapiro clone in the Oilers about to go the way of the dodo. They might be. I mean, listen, I think every team uses analytics. I don't think it's the thing that's going to put you over the top. I just don't. But to each their own. If you're an analytics guy, I have all the respect for you. But all I ask is just watch the game as well, because the spreadsheet doesn't.
No, it doesn't always
match
paint the whole picture.
Yeah. So, and sure, I think everybody's looking at analytics a little bit more, but like the expected saves and goals, I find that such a ridiculous.
Yeah,
it's just
expected goals, like
against or
expected saves.
Like
it's such a weird futuristic stat to me.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. But I mean, the Oilers just I think this is, and it frustrates me too, that this is year 10, 11 of Connor McDavid, and we're still going through these lulls in the season. And
you're gonna have those.
You're gonna have them, but the Oilers, when they have them, they're bad.
You would like their lows to be a little bit not as low as they are, closer to their top game.
That's what I mean. And this core has been there, and I think there's value in that. Like all the heartbreak this team and the frustrations, and then the jubilation of beating, being in the playoffs and having some success. That should all count for something. And you see this team, and it's just Knoblauch and Ekholm addressing the media last night. It's just like, we need more. We need more. So
that's so weird now, because back in my day, the cameras just came in and everyone was just standing there. You know, it was so, and they would just talk to whoever they wanted to.
Yeah,
like
and deal with it.
Yeah.
Getting paid millions of dollars, you're going to answer a few damn questions here.
I mean, if you wanted to be snotty and stuff, but everyone was available, you know? And I wouldn't mind getting other guys' takes on things.
I'll say this for tomorrow. I can't see the Oilers losing that.
You can't?
No. Well, I can. But one, outside of the playoffs, okay, I'm going to be clear on that. They've played well in Florida.
Yeah, you should have heard Hernan before. They don't lose in Florida in the break. Excuse me?
I forgot one key.
Just don't treat this like a Game 7 in the Stanley Cup final, I say, and the Oilers will be fine.
And Florida's missing a key player, thankfully.
Oh, huge.
Thankfully. Because that guy can turn a game around. I'm just trying to see here. Okay. So outside of the playoffs, okay, the Oilers away, they lost the last time out. That was November 20th, 2023. But before that, they had won 1, 2, 3. The last 3 visits to Florida.
Yeah.
They've had some success there, Joaquin, and take advantage of them not having Matthew Tkachuk. Get your team in order, though, defensively. Stop with the turnovers. You need a save. You need more from this forward group. It can't always be McDavid and Leon Draisaitl.
It has to be defense by committee. You can't keep buzzing the tower here. You know, I understand that in certain people their game isn't overly physical, but you have to engage somewhat. You can't just throw your stick out there and hope things work out.
Yeah,
I am kind of pointing out that second goal, but I just don't know how you don't get so angry that boils over at some point and you just go lay someone out. You know, Bouchard could have laid Hagel out on that. Like he could have anticipated, saw he was going around, and go to the other side of the net.
He could have put his body on the line to save a goal. He chose not. He chose not to.
I mean, yeah. I mean, he was pointing back up ice quickly.
Like he's like, please don't go around the net. Please don't go around the net.
It'll be better tomorrow.
You know, Dusty always does his 3 quick thoughts after the game.
Yeah.
His third one was Oilers don't look like a team that's pissed off with losing.
Yeah. That's huge. I mean, you saw a little slap against the glass, and Leon taking a penalty, I guess, was the only 2 things that really showed some emotion. I wouldn't mind seeing Stuart Skinner like break a stick over the crossbar too.
Go Mike Smith.
Yeah.
Mike Smith called out everybody on his team when he was here with the Oilers.
Yeah.
And at times it bothered me, but the other times I'm like, he's not wrong.
Yeah.
You know,
No.
like,
I mean, he would do it even when he didn't play that well too. That's a guy with a lot of confidence.
A lot of confidence. So I'm a little, and it goes back to that comment on Sunday afternoon after the game where Knoblauch's like, I don't like that these guys think they can just snap out of it. Because they have done it, but that's not a way to kind of go about with your team. They got to be better.
Are those 2 moments where he's kind of indirectly called his team out in the media?
Well, I think calling him fragile is, maybe not. Maybe he's just say, hey, like we're the confidence is low right now.
He said they are fragile. He didn't say we.
Yeah. I just don't understand how this team can still be, under that umbrella of a fragile team. Now, there's a lot of new players, sure, but it's not like they have a ton of rookies up here.
And like I said, sometimes this can be good for them too, to go through the mud a little bit right here before you can really get going. Like what you said when I asked you that question. How do they treat these last games? Like it's almost to the point where you have a game plan and you know who you're playing against, but you are fully focused on your own game from here on in. You're trying to get your game to a level where it doesn't matter who you play, when you play, that it is very difficult for whatever opponent you're playing with. You have to find that level of consistency each and every night, regardless if you're playing the San Jose Sharks or the Washington Capitals from here on in. It's you don't even see the jersey. You are focused like laser on your structure of how you want your team to become playoff time.
2 away from 100. Let's get it here in the next 12 seconds. We'll end with this one. Bronco Nick. Bouchard only lays out for afternoon naps.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, Bush has got to be better, man. Where are you, playoff Bush? Where are you hiding?
Yeah.
What's going on with you? Seriously.
Got to drink the Pisani juice.
The Pisani juice. Let's go, Bouchard. This team needs you. Team needs you. Big shout out to Tyson Shushkewich from Blue Jays Nation for joining us. Hernan's World Highlights, Lowlights. It was a fun show as the Oilers head to Florida. Look to snap a 4-game losing streak. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to follow us on all the platforms, Spotify, Apple. For Koob, Joaquin, Gage, I'm Hernan Salas. Enjoy your Wednesday. We'll talk tomorrow. Chowders.